Hey, welcome. Here we
Oh,
are.
hey,
I'm Daniel Johnson. Is Hristiyan Atanasov. Did I
that
say
was
it right?
pretty, that's pretty good.
Just yesterday, we were talking about how everyone tries to duplicate his accent, but it is irreplaceable, unduplicatable, one of a kind. Here he is, Hristiyan. Uh, so, thanks for joining us. We're just going to have a little chat here, talk about an upcoming event, a one of a kind, also one of a kind,
Also on okay,
one of
because
a kind
that's how.
event,
Oh,
the last ever of Pickup 101 workshops, the final, the finish, the end. It's over after this. Um, and we'll talk about if what that whole chapter of our lives of many people, part of many people's lives, Pickup 101 was. So it's coming to a close, and it's not coming to a close in like a sad way or just like a meltdown or falling apart or fading away or anything like that. It's like Lance is the owner. He's decided, he's grown up. He's moving on with his life. He's doing other things, and it's really a good, awesome thing for him. He's even expecting his first child about a month after we're done with this workshop, and so that's sort of we all wanted to come together and do something that kind of gives us one last chance to all come together and teach, and with that theme of like here we are, we're grown up, we've got kind of like wisdom of that maybe we didn't have 13 years ago or 10 years ago or even 5 years ago, and we want to share that with people. And you and I both, we don't work for Pickup 101 right now, and it's been a long time since we did. And so this isn't really like us as employees. It's us more just like as fans, as friends, as community, like wanting to make a little bit of a tribute to something that was really powerful and meaningful in our own lives. Um, and I know for me at least, a lot of times if I tried to tell that to people, it's not something that immediately makes sense. Like just the name Pickup 101, like they'd probably be like, "You gotta be kidding me! That was like a meaningful part of your life, like picking up chicks." But I think anyone who is, especially anyone who was really around during the heyday when we were doing, uh, you know, multiple workshops per weekend all over the world, like 6 to 8 workshops a month, with different instructors leading different workshops. And it was a community, it was a family, it was transformational for everyone involved. And so we couldn't help but get everyone back together to do this. So that's what's bringing us together. Hristiyan and I, we've taught a lot together. We have a lot of history going back quite a ways. And I recently got married. Hristiyan was my best man at my wedding. So thank you for doing that. Um,
Thank you for having me or inviting me. Whatever it is, asking me. Yeah, everything you said and more. I'm very excited about this event for so many reasons. It has been a life. It was a life-changing experience back then, and it really shifted the whole course of my life. I felt like I was heading in one direction, and I took that workshop, and then my life did a whole the whole different turn.
U turn.
I don't know if it was a U-turn or just a different direction
Perpendicular
altogether.
turn.
Did maybe a 360, I don't know. Spin me around into a new man and continue forward. Um, and we really, when we're all together at your wedding, I was like, damn, it just felt so good to have everyone back together and talk about the old times. I was like, we have to do this. We have to come together one last time. It's the end of an era, and we need to end it appropriately. just where we honor the journey and Lance and the company, and come only not as a celebration of our journey, but also to offer um, what we've learned in the last 10, 11, 12, how many years has been.
For me,
Um,
I think it's 13 since I joined. That was about when Lance decided to really make it a business. That's also when that was the year he met Yuko, who's his wife and soon to be the mother of his child. So yeah, about 13, and then yeah, for you is probably I guess I'd been working there a year or two when you showed up. So
yeah.
yeah, so we'll talk some more about the workshop, but we actually wanted to get together just to kind of like share about our own experience and share about what we've been up to and what we want to kind of bring to this workshop from our own insights, our own wisdom, our own something we have to share with other guys. So I guess maybe it started off. I'm curious, like, how do you feel like you've grown as an instructor as as a leader, as someone who has who has something that you want to share with people? What's that been like for you?
How have I grown since then?
Well, over,
Or
yeah, sure,
because of it? Or
yeah, I'm all of it. I was thinking, yeah, more like in the last maybe 5 years or something like that. Um,
I mean, when I say changed my whole life, it literally changed my whole life. It started me on a path of self-transformation. It started me on a path of uh, learning about myself. After that, throughout the years, I've took so many courses and workshops on personal development, and they've gathered skills around working with people and coaching, and took year-long programs and developed my own workshops, and it's just been um, I'll consider myself like a transformational junkie. I don't know. So it's constantly learning and growing and using my
so
life as a playground to experiment, learn, and grow. Uh, yeah,
it's like that hair commercial or whatever, where the guy's like, "I'm not just the president; I'm also a customer." Um, you
exactly.
walk the talk, I guess. Um,
Um,
like I'm curious, like specifically, do you like because when we were teaching, I mean, we were kind of young or younger. I mean, in our 20s, I was in my 20s. I think I was like 25 when I first started teaching next to Lance. I mean, he was still leading workshops, but and now, well, let's see, 26, I guess, because now I'm 39. I can't believe I'm that old. I shouldn't even be revealing that, but
don't tell anyone.
I don't feel 39, but it's true. And I'm curious, like, do you feel like what do you feel like you were doing wrong then that now you're doing right? Because for me, there was like definitely a learning curve. I wasn't like,
What was I doing wrong then?
yeah,
In terms of teaching or what?
yeah, as a teacher.
I mean, the biggest thing that comes right away was the ego. I was uh, very full of myself. Um, I just thought I was on top of the world. Uh, I mean, um,
Do you think that came out as a teacher or more like as with women or both?
I mean, probably both. It's just there was I kind of saw myself as some kind of guru or teacher. I mean, that I probably didn't acknowledge consciously that I was seeing myself that, but like I was, um, I mean, so that's one thing that comes to mind. But like, I had a lot less skills on knowing how to work with people and understanding of psychology or how the cause change or how to uh, how to hold people and all these things. And I think we had a great platform, and just the energy that workshops created caused a lot of transformation for a lot of people. Um, so I don't think we're doing anything caused any damage.
Sure.
But I think now I have deeper and greater understanding of how to present something, how to hold a person, how to have them connect to themselves in a deeper way. Um, I would say my work more right now is more about connecting the human to themselves and transforming them from within, rather than teaching in them. Like it's just like, here, let me teach you how to do this, or let me teach you some kind of knowledge, instead of like, oh, let's. If we're talking about seduction or pickup, but we're referred to pickup as seduction. So to me, it's more like, how do we find the seducer inside of you and bring that out, opposed to like, well, let me teach you the technique. Because if you walk like that, or talk like that, or stand like that, you're gonna get a certain result, uh, which could be helpful, uh, but there's deeper layers that I'm more interested in right now.
Yeah. I'm trying to think back. I'm not so sure for me, like, ego was necessarily, I mean, I guess, or maybe it's like a different, like, I'm imagining like a sense of showing off or something. Or actually, as I hear you talking, like, I can recognize in you, I feel from you, like, more like humility. Um, and I also get a sense of like, there's something about it's like more like spacious and accepting or opening, like bigger. Like, it sounds, and that's my experience too. It's like a bigger sense of like, oh, there's different people and they're like at different stages and different skills, and I'm not just special just because I'm this one. Like, I'm just one of this big part of everything that's going on, like a bigger perspective.
Yeah, that's a
Like
good
for
way to
me,
put
I
it.
guess I guess it's still kind of like ego, but for me, what one thing that comes to mind back then was like a real sense of like kind of thinking that my perspective is like the only perspective. Um, and uh,
That sounds pretty egoic.
yeah, yeah. Although, yeah, I mean, I don't know if it was, but it wasn't even like so much like my perspective is the best perspective. It was just like my perspective. Like, I couldn't see outside of it. Um,
Yeah,
I know that like a lot of for me there was a lot more like straining back then, a lot more like tighten, like I'm gonna make this work.
try
Um,
so hard. Yes.
yeah, trying really hard, and some of that was like a fire in me that was good. It was like there's like that youthful like, oh, all right, let's hit the clubs and let's talk to women, like get this done, which can be really useful. I mean, it motivates, it gets action and stuff. But then there's also that kind of straining, like gritting the teeth, like trying to push through, uh, like a feeling of rejection. It's like, oh, I'm not gonna let that hurt me. Oh, I can get through this.
That makes me think. One thing I like to say these days, I didn't say that back then, is choose a woman that chooses you. And the whole idea of pickup is that you can make any woman choose like you or choose you. And to me, it's, maybe you could, but it is so much work, and I just don't understand why I have to do so much work. Why choose a woman that's not choosing me? That's inevitably going to end up bad. If I could just end up just go say hi to a woman that's already, I can feel some energy or connection, or at the very least she's looking at me, or rather than I'm gonna go talk to that one that's surrounded by 20 other people in the middle of you know what I mean. It's kind of like, why make so much work, which I guess as a 20-year-old that's kind of what we did.
Yeah, well,
Yes.
and I'm not just talking about with women, but also as a teacher too. There was a sense of like, Maybe some of it was also like a perfectionism of like gotta like get the gotta get these results and like gotta like and I remember like our workshops would get so pumped up with like energy, which in a way, like that was really kind of fun. Like that was part of the fun of it was like getting everyone like all pumped up.
Uh-huh.
But it was like a full, like by the end of the weekend, it was like I was taxed. Like what just happened? Like what did we just do? 3 full days of like we'd get up early and be like, okay, workshop starts at 10 a.m. and like 10 a.m. and then we like take this quick lunch and we got more to teach and we got like, come on, get in here and like let's teach this stuff. And then we go out and we'd like be at the clubs until like 2 in the morning or something. And I
Good.
remember sometimes like students would come in like Sunday morning and they just be like, I don't think I can learn anymore. We'd be like, no, like get in your seat.
There's
We're
more.
starting. There's more. Um, and I wonder about that. I mean, I wonder like how much value can come from a 3 day weekend. I mean, some of it's like a full immersive environment. It's pretty cool. But I think also in my own life, this is kind of what we're talking about. Like real change takes time, and that's okay. Like that's another thing that I don't think I realized back then. It was like it's okay for change to take time. And I don't know if that makes good marketing. Like because like no, everyone wants like a quick product that's going to change me quickly, but it's like it's okay. Like even if you think about it, like okay, I'm going to put in 2 years, or maybe I'm going to put in 5 years to like work on this, like work on my social skills or something. Like just hypothetically, let's say it takes 5 years. Okay, so it takes 5 years, and then I have another like 20 years to enjoy like this much higher quality of life. Like, fine, it's totally worth it. Like, um, it's like this idea that it's got to happen right away. It's like you have the whole rest of your life to enjoy the fruits of your labor. So, like, put in a solid effort.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, the people that make the change, that's why we of our lives are so transformed, is because we stuck around, we stuck with it, we went back, we hung out with the guys, we became our community change, my community change, start hanging out with you guys and start teaching. And like I said, my whole life changed because, yeah, that one event changed it and made the turn, but I chose to continue down that path. So that workshop was a life-changing event, but then it's in itself, it wasn't a change. The change was me continuing down that road. And like I said, I became a transformational junkie and we continue to do so until today. Whether it's workshops on even, whether it's Vipassana retreats or coaching programs or whatever, or business programs or anything, just continue learning and growing and changing. It kind of almost started with our first workshop.
that's pretty sweet.
I mean, I guess I've always kind of been in it, but that kind of just like accelerated everything.
I'm curious, like, I'm kind of curious for myself also, but like, it just makes me think, like, what's that like to like change? Because it's easy to like change a little thing, like outside. Like, I changed where my computer is sitting on my desk. That was pretty easy to do.
That was
But
pretty
like when the
impressive.
thing that's changing is you, there's something like weird about that, huh? And I think that's a lot about what holds people back is like the identity. It's like, wait, who I am is changing. And I'm curious what that's like for you, like noticing and being aware, like, wow, Christian is becoming a new person.
It's quite trippy. I mean, ultimately, what is identity? Identity is just something made up. I mean, in a perfect world, I should be able to throw that away any day I want and put on a new identity because it's all made up stories that I have beliefs about myself and views about myself, and then I try to, you know, I am a Christian and I'm a pickup instructor and I'm a selection coach and I'm a man and I do these things, and what if all of a sudden I'm not those things and I'm something else? Uh, so I mean, unfortunately, identity is very persistent, and it's interesting. But the thing that I find is persistency and consistency would do the trick every time. Uh, just like you can physically transform your body if you work out every day over a long period of time, your body will be totally different. The same happens with your identity. Like if you had, oh, I'm bad with women, and that's just, you've known yourself for 30 years being bad with women. If you consistently start to change that story, you're going to find yourself a couple years down the line. It's like, oh, that, when I have that thought, doesn't match my reality anymore. All of a sudden, my reality is like, I have an amazing girlfriend, or last night I went out and met a beautiful woman and we had an amazing time, and that never used to happen before.
Yeah, and there's like a positive reinforcement I've found that happens where it's like where you start to see a transformation, and there's like a kind of there's like a little high that comes from it, like a little boost of like, yeah, like my life was like at this level before of like suffering and like and unhappiness or whatever, and now it's like it's maybe not like up here, but it's like a little bit higher. It doesn't even matter, maybe it's just a little bit, but it's like, wow, that is changed, like that changed, that was crappy and now it's not crappy. And you see that, and there's like this little boost from it of like, fuck, this is possible and this is happening, and I did it. And then it just kind of like that can become like a motivation of like, oh, let me do more, let me like see what else is here that I can kind of clean up, and clean up in my mind, or clean up about myself, or um, change, transform, grow, learn.
Yeah, it's intoxicating. I mean, it's so fascinating about identity is the moment you change your identity, your whole outside world changes. All of a sudden, if you could genuinely believe in your whole being, in your heart, down to your bone and marrow, that you can believe a different belief from the one you have, your outside world would instantly start reflecting it. Like if all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, of course I'm good with women, or of course I'm good with money, or of course I can work out every day. Like as long as if you actually somehow can genuinely embody that belief, your outside world would instantly start showing those results. Because not because of some kind of magic, but if you have that belief, you carry yourself differently. You meet a person, like, oh hey, how are you doing? And then you start getting different results because you have a different identity that you're carrying around.
Yeah, I'm like just kind of like thinking about it in my own mind.
I think identity should be like a cloth. Like, oh, I'm wearing a blue shirt. Oh, I can take it off and put a red shirt. Like, what
there's
if?
there's sort of like a, I don't know, it almost seems like, I don't know if it might seem like a paradox or something, maybe people are listening too, because I heard you kind of saying like, well, identity's all made up, or it's like a shirt, I can take it on and off. But then we also started the call sort of saying like, I think he said something about like it's all about finding the inner seducer in you, like that's already there. Not me teaching you, but bringing out what's already there. So it's kind of like, well, wait a second, it's not all made up. Like there's something there. I'm wondering, like, what do you think? Like, how do you balance that? Is it because there is, I think, like, okay, there's a story about Daniel, and there's like my ideas and my images of like who I am, like these mental images I have of myself, and like all the meaning I've created about who Daniel is.
Uh-huh.
But then Daniel is definitely like Daniel. He's not like he's not a Christian. Like he has something that makes him so like me. Uh, what do you think about that? What is that?
I mean, there is you that's like, I mean, all these things are real, but as long as, and the word identity, since we start playing with that, is that comes to play here. It's as long as I don't identify as that, as long as I can put it on and off. Like that's one thing that became very interesting with me about pickup and seduction is when I first got into it, it was this newfound power that I found, and I just went like full out. Like I was just, I couldn't talk. It became to a point where I couldn't talk to women unless I was flirting with them. I just couldn't have a normal conversation. I talked to a woman. Actually, I was more uncomfortable talking to unattractive women than attractive because kind of didn't want to be flirting with them if they were unattractive, but I couldn't not to. You know, it became almost like a sickness. I'm like, hey babe, like I couldn't be like, oh hi, what's your name? I couldn't take it. I became so identified with it. It was just
Hmm.
taking everything out of me. Then I had to like do a lot of work to try to take it off. So now, if I want to put it on, it's like a shirt I put on. It's like, oh, I can just seduce her. I could
So
just turn
it
it
was kind
on.
of like a habit. It was like programming, like autopilot.
Yeah, it was like an autopilot. Then, and
So
then
it
what?
was like it was running you rather than you running it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like I'm thinking of it almost like identity, the way you're describing it, this thing you can take on and off, almost like I'm seeing more as like a map, like it's like this map we've created in our minds of Daniel, like or Christian, like this is a map I have of me. It's got all these parts to it. It's like, oh, this is the part over here where Daniel is shy, and Daniel is afraid of women, or Daniel doesn't understand how to make the first move, and like which used to be part of the map of Daniel, and then that part of the map like got destroyed. And it's like, wait, no, actually,
I'm sure you could still have access
we
to that.
tore that up and threw it away. Maybe like some shyness, but there's some parts of it that it's like, uh, there are some parts that are just like gone forever. It's like I tore up the map and threw them out.
Yeah,
But then it's a question of like, what are we actually mapping? And I think it's like part of the problem is like what we're mapping is something that's like totally dynamic. It's like totally dynamic and changing. It's this thing like this, our personality, our essence, or soul, or humanness, whatever, is like it's always changing and it's always alive, and it's like it's a little bit mysterious and unknown, and our minds are like constantly trying to like freeze it in time. Like, no, that's just what it is. It's just this thing. It's just this thing. Like can we just freeze it there? But that's not what it is, and it can't be like frozen like that. But then at the same time, there's something very real about it, like in the actual moment that it exists. Like
yeah,
my personality, like right now I'm kind of energetic and enthusiastic, and I'm not like tired and like checked out. Like that's real. That's really happening in this moment.
yeah,
But then it's like, does that sort of solidify into this like habit of like I have to always be energetic because Daniel's energetic, and I have to be energetic, and like until I've just like worn myself into a hole.
totally, yeah. I mean, I think like what you kind of talking, what I would refer to that as would be essence. Um, so there's like I also have a construction business, right? Like the way I show up in my construction business is very different than if I'm teaching a workshop, right? There's two different people, but I guess down in my essence, there's probably the Christian that comes in, even though I put on a different identity of Christian the contractor versus Christian the teacher. Uh, but I guess in essence, the Christian that is always Christian is still there, even though it's playing with different identity, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. Like, well, if I seduce or pick up from my essence is different than the way you would do it, even though quote unquote we might be saying the same words or doing similar things, it comes off different because of our essence. Uh,
So I like what you're talking about. I think I want to like see if we can take it in a different direction because I'm curious now. Because you're
that's
hitting on something. I mean, I agree with you. I like where that went. That was an interesting thing. That was beautiful.
yeah.
Whatever just happened. Thank you for going there with me. Um, but you brought up something interesting, which is that you're in construction, and I actually also have a day job. I work as a nurse, which probably not a lot of people know that knew me back then, because at the time I was full time with Pickup 101 for 5 years. not just teaching, but doing things in the office. And that was my full time gig and treated me very well, and I loved it. And then I just decided to move on. And so that's something kind of unique about both of us is that we both have a sort of day job. Um, and and maybe we could talk about that a little bit. I mean, and we both still have this great passion for exploring that kind of like dynamic unfolding of the soul of essence. Yeah, maybe we could talk about that.
Let's
It's
talk
a
about
different perspective, and you know, a construction worker and a nurse are here like teaching pickup or something.
it. That should be the name of the video. The contractor and the nurse talk about women.
Yeah.
Oh,
Why did you make that choice? Like as
to do.
opposed to just being a full-time instructor or something like that. Because a lot of people did, you know, like Lance was doing it for a very long time, and a number of instructors from you know like Brian, who's going to be there at the workshop teaching. That's his full-time gig now. Still, he's still doing it, and just a lot of people went that direction. You know, others didn't. Like, you know, Justin was another guy who then he went and joined the Air Force,
Yeah.
and he's actually not going to be there because he's going to be in Japan with the Air Force right now. So
So the question is how I end up in construction. Why did I choose it? I don't know if I chose it, but why didn't I keep putting all my efforts in teaching? Um,
sure, why have you gone down this path?
I mean, because I surrendered to life, and that's where life took me.
Okay,
Um, there's a couple of things. I love teaching, and I don't like everything that happens in the background of teaching, like marketing and sales, and a lot of it is sitting in front of the computer. Like a workshop happened 1 week in a month. Let's say I teach 1 week in a month, if at best, maybe two, in the high day. Um, then the rest of the time you're in front of the computer and in the phone, and to me, that was very unsatisfying. Like I really like to be active and use my body and to be out in the world. And I consider myself very extroverted. I'm an extrovert, so just being at home on the computer was extremely draining for me. And I love construction. I just love building things with my hands, and it's just very grounding and very satisfying and very meditative. And just building something you could just see with like that wasn't there and now it is. Like it's just so like satisfying, gratifying. You sleep good at night. I sleep good at night doing construction, right? Um, so my idea with the whole teaching is like I want to save enough money, which I'm on my way, or that's the goal, where I can hire a crew of people to do the backhand for me, and I could just show up and teach, or join someone or another company or something that where like the way I had it with PickUp 101, where it was just I just Lens and whatever I knew and other people at the back end organized the workshops, and I just showed up. And I did sales, but only way I did sales was when I was doing an intro. Again, what someone else had to fill in the intro room, uh, which wasn't me. So I really, in the ideal world, that's what I would like to go back to. But my deepest passion, there's another piece I want to share about. I find out that my deepest passion is really teaching and doing this work, and nothing has given me as much satisfaction. And it became almost like an art for me. It became very dear to my heart that I had a really hard time marketing it. Like I didn't, it almost became sacred to me. Marketing it was almost heartbreaking. I was like, you should come to my workshop. I was like, no, it just felt like, yeah, icky, or do you like, come and I'll change your world.
that's
And I
pretty
was
good
like,
kind of
hey, if you
sales pitch
believe in
there.
me, if you want to come hang around this guy and see he's got something to offer, more than welcome. I think I have something to offer. If you agree, come. So I couldn't hustle, and it just didn't feel right because you became like my sacred little art expression, you know. Uh, so that's kind of why I went back to construction, which was what I used to do before I got into teaching, and I also like it. So it wasn't like I was giving up something.
Hmm.
Uh, so
Well, I mean, I really can relate to sort of what you're talking about. Something really grounded about. I mean, that was a big thing for me to go into nursing. Was also something really grounded about being able to just kind of use your hands and see a result, which is kind of different from the whole world of like transformation and transformational workshops. It's like, I mean, you kind of see results. Like we have students that are married and like successful, happy marriages with kids, and like other guys that are traveling the world, partying and enjoying it. Like lots of guys have seen amazing results, but but for something about it for me was like even more grounding of like someone comes in the hospital sick. They if they hadn't come in, they would have died. We give them this treatment, they get better, they go home. It's like that's real. Same what you're saying. Like there's a piece of land, you build something, now there's a building there. It's like it's real. You could go walk into it and you hurt your head as you bumped into it because it's there. It's real. It's tangible, and I like that. And I think I don't know. I think maybe there's something of value there also for guys, students. I mean, even what comes to mind is maybe some students that have like been following for many years and maybe not seeing results and in the sort of transformation that they want or something. And it's like sometimes I think it maybe helps to come back down to earth and just be like, wait, down to earth, like simple, earthy. We're born, we get old, we die. Like we need a house. We live in a house, build a house, live in the house, eat food, die. Like really simple.
yeah,
Because in a lot, like that's like 99% of being a human is just like we sleep a lot, we eat, we poop, we we have to clean ourselves. We have to constantly maintain our body and brush our teeth. It's like
maintain our
it's
existence.
this
Yeah.
mundane stuff, and everyone wants like, oh, that party night, in the Bahamas with on spring break with the five women in a hotel room. It's like, which lasts for what, like one night or something. And it's like, and then you have to wake up in the morning and brush your teeth and poop again. So,
Yeah.
so there's something I like about it, just like coming back down to earth like that. Um,
I mean, and to tie this to as a, if you want it as an inspiration to to sell your point, I think one of the most attractive quality in a human, whether it's a man or a woman, is confidence. Confidence tied with humility. Like you could be like confident, like yes, I'm gonna put myself out there. I'm gonna achieve. I'm gonna like you have confidence, you have persistence, you have clarity, focus, but also you have the humility to know that you're just another dying piece of flesh moving through the world, trying to figure it out as long, alongside of all the other humans trying to figure it out. And if you bring that confidence alongside humility, it's extremely attractive. And women are very attracted to that. I'm attracted to that in women, and it's a rare quality to find these days. We see a lot of empty confidence, people that are confident without actually having something to back it up with. Um, and we see that a lot in the pickup world. Um, yeah, or we see a lot of people that are just too humble. Kind of when someone's really good at something and they actually think of themselves as not good. It's
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
annoying
It's amazing how often that. I mean, I think probably all of us have that
on
some
some
corner
level.
of our personality, but um, and that's where it's really great to have like a mirror, to have someone outside you who can see it and shine a light on it and say, "Hey, no, that's real. That's good."
That's real. That's good. Yeah, like,
Yeah.
and it's good to know yourself. Kind of like I would say, I'm a good contractor, and I would say I'm not the best, or like I know what I'm good at and what I'm not, and I'm good at leading people. I'm not good at marketing. Let's say like, and knowing these things. Anyway, so. I think I like those. If you connect it to the mundane things of life, brings a sense of humility and. Um, I think if you acknowledge to yourself every day that you're headed straight to the grave, and there's no one step in a different direction that your body is taking, and you just leave that in the back of your mind as a reminder, that will transform your world.
Amen to that. Yes,
Mhm.
definitely. All right. Well, I mean, we've been sort of like, this is all obviously non-scripted, uh, or it's incredibly well scripted spontaneity. Um, but I
It's
think it's the
scripted.
first. So
Scripted.
yeah, I mean, we've been rambling a bit, but maybe we should just kind of like bring it back. I mean,
Well,
this
by the way,
the point of this
I
video. Oh, sure.
I just want to add that that's how you and I, and that's you and I love about this that we're recording and we're gonna put that into the world. But these are our conversation.
Sure.
That's how you and I talk for hours
Yeah,
when we did talk.
we really could. We could probably record 6 hours of this. Uh,
But when we're recording it or not, that's just us being us talking
yeah,
about
which is
life.
what we wanted to do, and I, hopefully we gave you out there a little bit of like just kind of like taste of where we're at in our lives and how we've been kind of growing as human beings, and obviously we're not done growing, and if we do this again in 20 years, we might be like, remember back then, like, oh my god, those idiots that we were. Who knows? But
Hopefully, I would only hope so. Yeah.
yeah, but this is kind of like that's what we want to bring to this weekend, is we want to bring that idea of like it's this journey through life, and kind of like we've been going along and developing some wisdom here and there, and maybe something that's useful for others. So let's talk about the weekend a little bit. What are you excited about, and what do you want to like bring to it?
I mean, I haven't been this excited about our event in a very long time. I'm just literally lit up and just gives me energy just thinking about it. One first and most important, I think. Now I'm saying most important, but it's gonna be a lot of fun. I think transformation, change, and everything. A lot of people take it very seriously. I think life is, what's that saying? Life's too important to take it seriously.
Something like that, yeah.
Like, I think it's gonna be a ton of fun because I have no doubt it's gonna be a ton of fun because we have such a dynamic group of people that we're all fun and we bring a different spices, a flavor of fun. When we add us all together in a room, it's just gonna be a blast. So that in itself, I think, is worth the price of admission, just to come and have the time of your life. And when you add the fact that we're gonna be sharing our wisdom and what we've learned on the subject of women and intimacy and relationship and pickup and seduction. Um, yeah, I'm very excited to talk about seduction from the place I view it today versus back then, and just to really like what I kind of mentioned earlier. How do we find the essence? How does your seducer comes out from your essence rather than teach you how to seduce like I do or like you do? It's kind of like, oh, maybe Daniel's way of seducing is being really dry, or really loud, or really quiet, or really aggressive, or really set back. It's all seductive. I mean, the flower just sits there and seduces the bee without having to do all that much other than just shining, right? Or like beaming its radiant beauty. Um, So you could be very aggressive and direct. You could play back. It's how what's your essence of seduction, and it's not a technique. It's kind of how do we bring that out, um, and yeah, that's what I'm excited about. What about you?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things I think that I'm excited about. But I mean, I like what you hit on. Definitely like a dynamic quality of bringing together all these guys. And what I was thinking is it's kind of true about the instructors themselves. Also, is like having grown in terms of it, being an instructor is like everyone's become more them. Like Lance is more Lance than he ever was, and you're more you than you ever was. Um, and that's really cool. It's like everyone brings like their own unique like gift that you could say is like bringing their gifts and bringing like what's uniquely theirs to share, their own unique wisdom. And there's a lot of it, like the collective experience and wisdom of all these teachers is really impressive to me. And so I'm excited to like be there, like even to like watch other people talk and teach. And for myself, like I've been on a long journey of practicing meditation has been like the biggest thing in my life for 5 years or more. I don't know, 8 years, something like that. And I mean, like, seriously, I've gotten into it doing month long. Well, I did a 12-week silent retreat and like weeks on end of retreats and meditation and volunteering. And um, it's a big thing for me. And I think there's a lot that can be of use to guys, even if they're not necessarily like interested in some sort of spiritual enlightenment or something like that. Like, they don't necessarily want to be the next Buddha or or Gandhi or Mother Teresa or something. Like, that's not the bar they're aiming for. Um, I'm not sure it's even like all that. Like, I don't think you could become like Mother Teresa just like I'm going to become Mother Teresa. Like, you got to be you anyways. And I think meditation has so many benefits, whether it's just something simple about like concentration, to develop a sense of concentration and focus so that your mind can be more like a laser beam with whatever you're working on or doing, whatever task you have in front of you. You can actually put all of your attention there instead of thinking about the results, like, oh, it's not going to work, or oh, I hope it's going to work, or thinking about something totally different, like, oh, I should be doing something else like right now. And that's, you'll spend your whole life doing that, thinking about something else while you're doing the thing that you were used to be thinking about, and goes on and on.
Yeah,
Um,
I think meditation is the main tool for being able to change your identity.
sure. I mean, it's powerful. It's powerful, and it's also subtle. It's like not necessarily. It's not necessarily like flashy and lots of fireworks and glitz and glamour. Um, it requires a little bit of maturity and patience and persistence, and so yeah. I mean, I'm excited to share that. I definitely want to like do some exercises around that. I'm excited. Like, I've already have ideas like bubbling of like different exercises, and I know that the other instructors are too. And like we're sort of collaborating and coming together, and we're still sort of creating this as we roll along. And so I'm excited to see what comes out of all that.
Yes. And I also like how you say you just want to be there to see what the other's gonna to teach. So it's kind of like the whole piece we just talked about, being confident and being humble. It's kind of like, oh, I'm there to teach, but I'm also there to learn. Like, I feel like I have definitely have something to learn from everyone there, and I like to surround myself with people and friends that I can learn from, like yourself. So I'm definitely looking forward to also being a student. So that will be very exciting. I mean, it's already exciting.
All right. Well, I guess this is the part that we're not good at, marketing and stuff. Is what we're talking about. So we'll just give some details. It's August 11th to 13th. Probably we should have said that at the beginning of the video because maybe people haven't even watched this far. Like they turned it off a half hour ago. There's just two guys talking about stuff. Why do I want to watch that? But August 11th to 13th, that's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It starts Friday evening, it goes to Sunday evening. We're going to go out at night. I mean, I would like to go out Friday night, Saturday night, and like go out with guys. It's not necessarily like you're going to have in-field coaching like we used to do, but there will definitely be time to like go out and kind of like be in a social environment and watch people put on their social skills, which should be really fun. And it's going to be a blast, like Hristiyan was saying. It's going to be a lot of fun. But there is also going to be like Q&A panels where you like ask any question, anything you want to know about the last 13 years, and all secrets will be spilled. We're going to have exercise. We're going to have guest speakers of like different instructors from the past coming in to talk about different topics and teach and lead you through things. And like for the students, it's going to be a lot of like individualized attention too, because there's going to just, well, first of all, just because there's going to be so many instructors there, because we all want to be there. Everyone who I know is either like, I'm so excited to be there, or like, I'm not going to be in the country, so I can't come. There's like a couple people like that, and I feel sorry for them, but whatever.
Missing out. You should check it out.
There's an event page where you can go, you can sign up. Do you have the URL?
I gave you the URL. Just put it on the YouTube. Is this gonna go on YouTube, right?
It's going to go on YouTube. Yeah, I guess we'll put it in the comments below,
Like,
or the
it should be on the description. There should be a link. Sign up.
Sign up. If you don't want to do that, just send me an email. I still have my old email address. I will probably shut it down after all this in a few months, but pu101daniel@gmail.com. Pu, that's like pickup 101. pu101 daniel@gmail.com. Send me an email, and we can talk. We can see if it's a good fit for you, see what your expectations are, and I mean, we actually want to know like what do you want to get out of it, so that we can make sure that happens. We can talk on the phone or by email, whatever. And it's gonna be in the Bay Area. I don't know if I mentioned that.
Oh
Bay
yeah.
Area, probably San Francisco or somewhere in the San Francisco area, maybe East Bay, maybe more on the peninsula or something like that. We'll figure it out. We're still finding a location at this point, but actually, by the time you watch this, that
We'll
might not
probably
even
have
be
a
true
location.
anymore. So check the page. I shouldn't have even mentioned it. Just check the link. All the information's there. Don't listen to this guy who exists only in the past. The future is in this link. All right, a little bit
If
trippy.
someone watches this 10 years from now, they'll be like, what's wrong with these guys?
And why doesn't the link work?
And the-
Yeah, so that's 2017, August 11th to 13th. Lance is going to be there. Hristiyan's going to be there. I'm going to be there. Brian from Fearless. What is it? Fearless. Is it just Fearless? Fearless Confidence. He's got his own business. Alexandra, who does private coaching up in Seattle. And then we've got other instructors. I don't want to give it all away because some of these details we're still working out.
There are surprises. In other words, how they say, be there or be square type of thing.
Yeah.
It will be, like I said, it will be a blast. It will be life-changing. It will be transformative. Maybe it will be the workshop that makes the U-turn for you, like it did for me. So I hope to see you there. And yeah,
All right.
I guess it's a good end, a good place to end.
I think so. Okay,
Awesome.
we'll see you there.